Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. We're out here to do a Candlelight Vigil on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you.
My name is David Robinson. I'm a proud son of Columbia, South Carolina. I was raised on the Southern values of faith, family, and treating others as you would like to be treated. I believe in the power of a handshake and the strength of one's word. As a single parent, I faced the challenges of making ends meet firsthand. When I heard the call to serve, I knew I had to act. I served my country where I learned that we are all in this together, regardless of race, color, or politics, whether it was in Afghanistan or Arizona. I saw the power of cooperation. Now, I'm ready to bring that same spirit to Washington. Our nation's future depends on our ability to work together and focus on the bread and butter issues that matter most to everyday Americans, not sowing seeds of division. This November, when you cast your ballots, remember, it's about more than just politics. It's about sending someone who would truly represent all South Carolinians. I am David Robinson, and I approve this message. Hello, everyone. David Robinson here. I am the father of missing geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, but I'm also a candidate for South Carolina Congressional District 2. Coming today to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow and everything that matters. As you know, 23rd is a big day. It's a big day for several reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that my son, geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, went missing out there in the snoring desert of Arizona on June 23rd of 2021. My son is currently missing. I did a lot of work out in the desert, searching for my son, started my grassroots movement, my own investigation, hired a private investigator, solved a case for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and also found several human remains, bringing closure for other families. I just dropped on Instagram, so those who was on Instagram, I apologize. It did come up that I dropped you all, so I will try to fix that and get that going. But yes, definitely for those I will repost. I repost this video. I'm gonna try to make it short enough for a repost. But again, fighting for missing Americans was the thing that I ended up doing. There's families out there in the desert that inspired me to start Daniel Robinson Foundation. I'm the founder and president of Daniel Robinson Foundation. That would bring help for families who do not have help otherwise. My family and I have been through, excuse my expression, hell, trying to get law enforcement to work for us, try to get answers. And sometimes family just don't know what to do. And so the experiences that I have, the Daniel Robinson Foundation will help families be able to navigate, and also with resources and things they need to find their missing loved ones. But I didn't stop there. Having problems with cellular communication data, meaning cell phone pings. Working with senators in Arizona, trying to find a solution by calling a big meeting with telecommunication companies to try to leverage and find ways to bring some legislation for cell phone pings, something that cannot be gotten if law enforcement, for instance, do not deem a case, as in my son's case, as a criminal case. So when it's not a criminal case, you cannot get cell phone ping data easily. And so it had to be signed off by a judge. And so, nevertheless, I was able to find a solution to that. In my spare time, while I'm out there searching for my son in that desert, doing 50 weeks of desert searching, covered 35,000 acres of land, also doing city searches and flyer distributions in the city. In my spare time, I taught myself how to write legislation. I wrote my first bill, Help Find Missing Americans Act. It's called Daniel Robinson's Law. I pushed it for the U.S. Congress because I told the telecommunication companies I was coming through their back door to change things so that families would not have to go through the roadblocks, and law enforcement as well, to get cell phone ping data. And so I was able to do that without invading privacy, without hurting the telecommunication companies, to get information that families and law enforcement need without a judge warrant based on a person's ownership of that data. So you guys can read about that law, that bill that I wrote to get further details. But I wrote that bill for U.S. Congress. I ran in 2024 as a constituent who was tired of Joe Wilson, called President Obama a liar, the State of the Union address. There's issues in my district that really matters, but that push for the cellular communication data, the cell phone pings, as well as the fact that my son went missing, pushed me out of my comfort zone and caused me to do something I really need to do. So in other words, in essence, I decided to run for U.S. Congress, not because the Democratic Party asked me to run, or someone within the party, or I worked with someone in the party that asked me to run for office. I ran because I saw a need. I saw something I can solve, and I wanted to push it not just for my son, but push it for the entire country. That's why I ran for U.S. Congress, to get a bill passed and also fight for those in my district. And myself, my family, being a single parent who lived in this community, who's been here all my life, born and raised, have long-lived experiences from war to you name it. We had to get some changes within our VA system to you name it here in South Carolina. I can go on and on about that, but that was the reasons to run. And I ran in 2024, got 41% of the vote against a then 24 year incumbent, Joe Wilson. Did very well, got conservative votes to get us to the 41%, but I'm sure I can do better this time. But what I'm saying is, that's the reason why I ran for U.S. Congress. And because I lost that election, I decided to also write a version for South Carolina, one for Arizona, and one for Louisiana. The one for South Carolina, I pushed that with a senator named Senator Russell Ott, who's sponsoring it, is running through Senate Judiciary as I speak. And we will get it over the finish line, because I will be pushing very hard to make that a South Carolina law that would definitely help. In other words, in essence, I have been doing the work since my son has been missing, and I'll continue to do the work. Again, I wasn't asked to run. I am not being backed by a bunch of people within my own party. I'm not being backed by certain groups of people with the hype and with the flares and things like that. I'm just a plain, ordinary citizen, a disabled veteran, decided to come out of retirement to work for the people. So here I am working for everyone in our district. Work for the Missing American grassroots a family that I've built along the way to bring answers and solutions to continue to fight. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit of that. It all started with, again, my son going missing out there in the snow and desert. You probably heard this story. Daniel Robinson, geologist, graduated from the College of Charleston, also an AC Floor graduate here in Columbia. Went to the College of Charleston, South Carolina, to pursue a career in geology. He graduated with honors, took his career out into Arizona, where he landed his first job with a company called Matrix New World, Southwest Groundwater, a drilling company that hires geologists. He was a hydrogeologist, also called a field geologist, where he ended up going missing on June 23rd of 2021. Everything, he according to the person that last saw him, he waved off, drove off to never be seen again. Almost 30 days later, you see right here in this picture, his vehicle was found further in the Sonoran Desert, in a remote area of the desert, the Sonoran Desert, in a 20-foot ravine. His vehicle's lying on the side. His clothing, everything from his underwear down to his socks, was lying 3 feet away from the vehicle. My son still remained missing. Again, you know that I did everything I can. Left South Carolina, drove over 2,000 miles to get to Arizona. Again, started my own investigation, hired a private investigator, started my own searches, bringing people from all walks of life, regardless of color, religion, you name it. We came out together to do 50 weeks of desert search. And a lot of times I had over 200 people at a time coming out in the snoring desert to help. So I have the ability to bring people together for a common cause, not just a person to talk and give you all the promises in the world that I would do, because families do not need promises. They don't need words. They don't need articulation. They just need action. And that's what I've been doing from day one, bringing action. Just an ordinary citizen, a plain person, a disabled veteran who served this country, wanted to do something, not just selfishly for my son, but for everyone that I come in contact, even those here in my state. So that's the reason why I'm running, and I'm going to continue to fight and do everything that I can. That's why I can tell my family right now, despite of whatever happens tomorrow, you guys bet that I will constantly continue to do the work that I have been doing and building since June 23rd of 2021. But to go a little forward here, as you all know that we do have the primary runoff election that's on tomorrow. So I'm asking everyone to please come out, exercise your right to vote. I've served in this country. I'm the only candidate that's running for Congressional District 2. Even Joe Wilson, who is a combat veteran. I'm the only one that's a combat veteran. I really thank everyone for their service. Again, Joe Wilson for being part of the National Guards. Zion Khalifa, who is a reservist. But also those who are just like myself, who went across seas, who got in the war situation, who served the country and received injuries, and who fought and put himself on the line, who stood side by side with battle buddies who died while we were out fighting. But we're fighting for exactly that: your right to vote, your right to live, your right to eat, the Constitution. And that's exactly what I fought for. I put myself on the line, received the injury that I have to live with for the rest of my life, and that's why I'm disabled. However, I'm asking you to come out there to vote, to exercise your voice, because it's your right. As a Black American, we have many that went before us who died, bled, got beaten, you name it, to have us our right to vote. So we need to exercise our right to vote in every election. And I'm saying this as a veteran. If whether you vote for me or not, it's your constitutional right. Whether you vote for Democrat, independent, non-voter, you have to be a voter to vote and get out your voice, because your voice is very important. But my issues, of course, is I'm running for our economy, to build a strong economy, to modernize our infrastructure, because we are now in a time of renewable energies, and we're going to have to build. We're going to AI. We're seeing data centers get being placed in different places. So we're going into the future. Some would say, whether we like it or not, we're heading there. So we got to modernize our infrastructure. Also defend our democracy. Again, being a disabled veteran, a combat veteran, I really take it to heart when I raise my right hand to defend the Constitution of the United States against foreign and domestic enemies. It's a life oath. It's not an oath that ended when my career ended and I was retired. But it kept going, and it's a life oath that we take. Also, to bring back affordability. We see right now they were saying it was because of the egg prices. Now it's about the whole bag of groceries, and we're going to have to fight for that. But part of my lived experience, as you can see here, I'm disabled post 9/11. Right after 9/11, I closed my business and joined the U.S. Army as a combat veteran. I joined as an 88 Mike, was a truck driver, because I had 13 years experience of driving trucks. But I decided to put myself in harm's way because we're losing our service members on convoys in Iraq during the Iraqi Freedom War. And I wanted to go there to help Americans fight. And so, but I ended up in Afghanistan, Operation Endure Freedom. But as a disabled combat veteran coming out of retirement, in the sense, to serve the people once again, I'm not building a portfolio for myself. I'm not starting a new career off in life. I'm not looking to make a law firm look good or anything. I'm really working for the people. I'm retired so I can spend all my time and efforts in fighting for the people, like I have been doing for the last 5 years. Combat lifesaver. While I was in Afghanistan, I am able to help soldiers who get hurt. Been a gunner. I'm a protector of those who were around me in our convoy. As a devoted father, a single parent, I raised my children well. They are all scientists. I have one you see here, geologist Daniel Robinson. I have an archaeologist and a marine biologist. So I have done very well, taking care of my children, started my own business, as you all know. I went to college. For those who I did hear people say they thought I didn't go to college, but I did. I went to college for computer engineering. I cut my degree short because I became a single parent, and that's what responsible parents do. You put your own life on hold for your children. I know many of us have done that. Also, but the fact that I started a small business, not just sitting there and trying to say, hey, look, what can I do since I didn't finish my career? I started a small business in trucking and done very well, even through the crisis and the recession of 2004 when George Bush put us there. So again, also I authored Help Find Missing Americans Act. I've been doing work, like again, since my son was missing, I turned my pain into purpose. My pain has become something to advocate for missing Americans, to fight for my community. I've been doing things with human trafficking and also domestic violence along the way, along with missing American cases. So I've been serving the community, working with Red Cross, making blood bags. I think that's what they call it. So I've been working with the community. I have lived experiences, lived ideas that cause me. When you have lived experiences, it calls you to do things like Daniel Robinson Law, to find a solution, to a problem. Your solution is going to always be geared based on your life experience. If you don't have life experience, I didn't read it in the book or ask the neighbors, but when you get passionate about something, you write the kind of policies that matters and to everyday Americans. Not like Joe Wilson to make a bill to rename a post office or write a bill to put Donald Trump on a $250 bill that could be counterfeited. So you make bills that actually matter. Also being a disabled veteran and a person with experience and with lived experience, I'm not easily bought. I'm not easily controlled by anyone, even in my own party. I'm not controlled by anyone, but I'm actually working for the people. That's the reason why you see me say people over parties, because the people of my district come before any parties. But I am a Democrat. I have democratic values, and I stick on that. But at the same time, when you're a representative, you have to represent everyone. So that's the way I work. It's definitely making solutions for everyone in the district. Is what I'm saying. Not leaving anyone behind, because that's what happened. We have all this partisanship with Joe Wilson only representing those in his district. That's a Republican, and he's not even doing those well, because the Republicans on his side would say, hey, he don't do town halls. He's not listening to this. He always doing his photo ops. That's what he does. He has done no solutions for his constituents that vote for him. And he darn sure ain't doing nothing for Democrats that don't vote for him. So my stance is I'm doing something for the whole entire district, because I believe that if a chain has a weak link, the whole chain is no good. I lived from my lived experience where I went to C.A. Johnson High School, and then you look at another school within our district. And I remember I went to W.A. Perry, and I had to go to another school. And when E.L. Wright at the time on a different side of the track. And when you went to that school, I've done very well. I was academically doing well, about to get a scholarship at that time. And I remember going to a school on the other side, and they said, hey, you're a year behind, because they was giving us hand-me-down books at C.A. Johnson, meaning that we was receiving books that the other school had last year, and they passed it down to our school. So it was always a year behind. And so we're not having that anymore in Congressional District 2. We're not having that anymore for our students that depend on receiving quality education. So that's the kind of thing that I mean when I say, hey, you have to put people over parties, because Joe Wilson would look at C.A. Johnson friends, or look at that side of his district. That's even though C.A. Johnson's not in his district, but he'll look at those side of the district and say, well, I won't put these federal dollars put in this area, because that's not where my voters are. So those type things. So that's when we have marginalized communities, left behind communities. We have communities like in Aiken, who's falling behind. We have Barnwell County that don't even have a hospital, and economic growth is not there. We have even right here in Columbia, South Carolina, you can go to Broad River Road, where the economy is crashing. in that one small black community. So that's what I'm talking about. When you have a congressman that don't understand that when you're representing people, you're representing everyone, regardless of party. So again, that's the way I am approaching to make sure I'm looking out for every community within our district. Nobody left behind. Everybody get equal treatment. The other part is 2024 candidate. I ran in 2024 against Joe Wilson with 41% of the vote. And people always hear me say this all the time. And I'm proud because with my son, if you all been following that story, I spent a lot of money. People donated a lot of money. There's a lot of money spent. A real hard hit financially. But I ran for Congress. It wasn't about David Robinson. It wasn't about what I want to do. No career. I didn't start a new career, like I said. Wasn't trying to build anything. Only thing I did was try to help and do what I can that I know I can do. And I ran in 2024 with less than $12,000 to run with. It probably was a lot less than that. So when people see me put it on in 2024, I had one of the candidates that just lost before this runoff. Told a constituent why he asked a constituent, I don't know why he put his loss to Joe Wilson on his website, because I was proud of that. I was proud of that because the people stood behind me. Not just Democrats. It was also the conservatives that yell at me in their car and say, hey, I'm voting for you. The ones that told me they're voting. I really believe in at the town halls that I was holding because they understood I had lived experiences. They understand I would put everybody's interest first. I would not make policy or support policies that harms others or take somebody's rights away. Those type things. They understood that we had lived experience and we had common ground of things that we could work on. And I've done that. I've done that, and I wanted to prove on that 41%. I remember when I first ran the Democratic Party, I went to, when I say Democratic Party, guys, I'm not talking about the ideology. I'm talking about the establishment, the organizational piece of it. I went to the organizational piece of the Democrat and say, what do the party do for the candidates? And one of the things I did learn since that time is that, when you're out there trying to run for office, you have to be out there and pretty much working alone. You work alone. So what I'm saying is you keep your ideologies. That's being a Democrat, and that's exactly who I am. But it's not based on organization. It's not based on organization, meaning that I'm not working for an organization. I'm working for the people, and I don't get that confused. So 2024, I can capitalize on that and actually get the votes. Because the party, again, when I went to them and asked what they do, they said, hey, you know what? One thing they mentioned to me at that time was that, look, we have candidates that run for office, but they'll run at one time. If they get the hype, everybody get behind them. They'll run at one time. They lose against Joe Wilson, and then they don't come back no more. They happen with Adele Burrows. They happen with Judd Larkins. They happen with some of these other Democrats that ran before I did against Joe Wilson. And then when they lose that election, you'll never hear from them ever again to run for that seat. But David Robinson kept going because I'm not a person to give up. I'm a person that never fight. If you watch for 5 years on the way I treated my son's case, I come with the same energy. People say that man just don't give up. No, I'm not giving up on my son. And I'm not giving up on all the missing Americans that's out there. So again, that's what this campaign is all about. So to help you all understand what's going on right now, and what does really mean to me, the June 23rd is a really big defining moment. One of the things was when my son went missing, I had to make choices. I had to make some really hard choices on, I found out I couldn't do it, but declaring my son deceased. I said I was going to do that probably in the 5th year. Here is tomorrow will make 5 years. Can you imagine to even put that in your psyche about doing that only for one reason, so I can get more leverage on law enforcement to get them to do more for my son's case, meaning that I can have more leverage because law enforcement at the time sensationalized my son's case. They damaged chain of custody. They even attacked me personally that they put in their report. So you guys know about that. Those who've been following the story, it's a lot I could say. So they give me some legal remedies for my son to get him some type of justice is to declare him deceased. And that was a hard decision, but it's something that can't just be done. And I found that out later. But that was in my brain. for June 23rd, 2026 here. The other part is my son will be missing for 5 years. I was hoping and praying that I can find my son before tomorrow hits because my son went missing and I still do not have him. I just had a Father's Day that hurt me. It crushed me. Before the Father's Day, we had a June 9th primary election. And I won it with 41% of the vote because I had 3 Democrats was asked to run against me. Well, 2 of them. I had not been able to get the 51% of threshold. And to me, that is the facts, and that's the truth. And so one of the things that hurt me because the people already spoke and say, hey, look, 41%, if we didn't have the other 2 candidates, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. But then when I went to go look and see what this runoff is, it said June 23rd. That took me. That night, I could not even tell the people who voted for me, thank you, because I was in pain. I had to wait till the next day. And I'll be honest with you guys, it was very, very hard for me to keep going forward. After that night, I was just tossing and turning in my bed, seeing that, hey, this June primary runoff is on the day that my son went missing. And then I felt like I heard the voice of God says, David, you cannot stop now. You didn't stop in June 23rd, 2021, and you cannot stop now. You cannot stop now. No, regardless what the outcome is going to be. You cannot stop now. And then I got a new sense of renewed energy where I decided to do both at the same time, to keep going and keep fighting for everyone who's been believing in everything I've been doing from day one, to continue to fight. So I decided to go ahead and do this. A Candlelight Vigil is called America's Son, and everybody knows the reason why I call it America's Son, because my son is only a type and shadow of things that's happening in our country every day. We have 600,000 Americans go missing every year. We have 3,000 Americans go missing every day, meaning that today there are going to be 3,000 people, at least 3,000 people going missing a day, over 2,000 children every single day. And my son is part of a statistic that I do not like, and that is he's a part of the 40% of all missing Americans that of color that go missing, though Black Americans, we only make 13 to 14%. It's a crisis. But the only thing that we keep hearing is about all this drama, about the Strait of Hormuz and everything else, what so-and-so said, some crazy stuff. And we're not hearing about all the Americans that is actually going missing, that I've been fighting, and not just me. We got other organizations. I wish I could say the name because it's a political thing. They're friends of mine, but I cannot bring them up right now. But all these organizations out there who are really fighting, people I've met along the way, who is out here working very hard to try to make sure that we bring some relief to families of the missing. It's affecting all of us. It's a bipartisan thing. It's don't affect just white people, Asians or whoever, Native Americans. It affects all of us. And so that's the reason why I wrote a bill, again, from my lived experiences, that would help everyone. Everyone. It's a bipartisan bill that everyone can agree on. Everyone can work together on. So this is America's Son Candlelight Vigil 5 years later. And I put from pain to purpose. Because from my pain, people say, hi, Mr. Robinson, how you able to do this after all this year? Because God gave me a purpose. He calls me to open up, start a grassroots movement to help missing Americans, to bring awareness. He calls me to start the Daniel Robinson Foundation to help other Americans. He also made me write Daniel Robinson Law to help all Americans, and also to run for U.S. Congress to fight for everyone in my district against a person, a no-doer, ineffective Congressman, Joe Wilson. And so I cannot stop. And I get it. We had a candidate that started running in January. I've been running since December the 6th of 2020. November the 6th of 2024. When I lost in 2024 on November the 5th, I launched my campaign on the 6th, and I've been running since. And I can tell you guys, I have not had any vacations. You guys can hear me say it over and over again. I kind of laugh about it because I know that those who follow me with my son's case, you hear me say it all the time. I have, and it's true. Last time I had a vacation, and I'm a water person. I'm in the water state. We have Charleston, we have Folly Beach, we have Hilton Head. I mean, I can go Pawleys Island, all the nice places I like to go. Right here, we have water right here, and I have not dipped a bit toe in the water. and I love being in water. Everybody know how I feel about the ocean. I haven't been touched the ocean water since before COVID when we had to stay at home. My son went missing right after that, and I've been fighting ever since. So that's the reason why June 23rd means so much to me, because of the defining moment where I see what happens tomorrow will make a difference, and then give me some really course of action what I need to do from this point. But I can't tell you this one part: I will not give up on anything. So the point is, I'm making you all understand is it is a bit defining moment for me, and it's very hard, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I said I was going to do. But anyway, from pain to purpose, voices of the missing, stories of hope, the journey to get here, election night watch party. That's the whole entire day on tomorrow. From 4 o'clock p.m., again, the Warriors of the Missing. I will give updates about my son's case. We'll have missing American families on to tell their stories. Around 5:30, we'll talk about the 5 years where we got here. And then the pain into purpose, we'll talk about Daniel Robinson law. We'll talk about how, this election. I mean, you name it. The reflection on this journey, the future, what we're going to do next for Missing American Advocacy. And then I would jump over into the campaign side of things, the political side of things at the watch party, which I was going to have on this flyer, you see, it would have been a virtual, but what I'm end up doing, I'm making it let me go back to this one. I would make it a in person. And so you guys, if you were able to come out to the watch party on tomorrow, it'll start at 7 o'clock p.m. At Slab Studios. That's right there on O'Neill Court, right near the Columbia Mall. For those, the Highway Department Shopping Center, you come out and join us on election night watch party. I would like to have you there. Those who support my campaign, who voted for me, who's been donating, I really want to like to see you there. But real quick, I want to jump back on this other flyer that I want to give you all, so you guys can see what love and lived experiences creates. I had someone, I'm not going to miss the name, said that lived experiences don't matter. It's about what you learn in school. It's about book knowledge and solutions based on books. No, your lived experiences matter. When I say your lived experiences matter, every veteran who's been out there in war and they have to come back with an injury, and they I just want everybody to understand it. So it matters. So my lived experiences created this from June 23rd of 2021, from June 22 to June 23rd of 2026. This is the things that, again, that happened. I started a national grassroots movement, and I'm proud of that. It took me 3 months. You guys heard about the Petito case. My son went missing 3 months before the Petito case. It took me 3 hard months just to get my son, first of all, the 2 weeks to get my son on local news. It took me 3 months to get him national, and I worked hard day and night. I barely got 2 hours of sleep. Worked really hard. I got my son's platform high enough to get picked up once the tragedy that happened in the Petito case, when it became a national story based on what media doesn't do for families and how they treat people of color a lot different than others. So those things became a national movement, which I was able to advocate by going to places like CrimeCon, to talking to the Red Table Talk, to you name it, to push really hard to get not only my son's stories out there, but to talk about the missing American crisis. That's work really hard, very hard. And the little picture you see on the bottom is on a little small snippet of the way to put people together and bring us together to fight as one American. And I've seen it. I've seen it in the desert when people, Americans, we come from all walks of life, and we could do one thing together. And so I have the ability to do that. Also, I created the Daniel Robinson Foundation based on what I've seen in the desert. If you look at the picture right in the middle, when you see me praying with everyone in the crowd, I had been around over 200 Americans at one time. And I'm sitting, one sole person sitting there being a leader. And I remember just hearing people come up to crying to me and talk about their missing loved ones. Some been missing for 5 years, some missing 10, some 20, but they all talked about their loved one as it happened yesterday. And if you can imagine being a person with a missing loved one of your own, and you're out there helping somebody else find their missing loved one, I was inspired. I was very much inspired. First of all, I'm from South Carolina. Around here, a bunch of people from during that time, people come from California. Some came from South Carolina, but some from California, some from right there in Arizona, some from Florida. People coming from all over the place coming out to the searches. And when I hear these families talking about their missing loved one, and here I am helping you out here in this desert at 118-degree weather, trying to find your son, what you think I'm going to do? I went into my hotel room at the time and tried to find a solution. That was my first solution. What I can do to help to give back to the community? What I can give back to people who's helping me? And that is, I was angry, to be honest with you, because I know how law enforcement was treating me. I knew all the things I had to navigate, the pain I had to go through to try to find, just get any kind of movement for my son. And I swore to myself that I would never let a family have to go through that. That's why I started the Daniel Robinson Foundation. And I named it after my son because it mattered. Daniel Robinson Foundation is a true 501c3. Also, being a national advocate on television, on this place to that place, who would like to hear from me, to talk about the missing American crisis, to be a liaison, to speak about those things. I met some great people, and I wish I could say their organization right now. Great people who are already doing the work too, out there working really hard. And I was able to join teams with them to work as well to help us find our missing loved ones. So that's why I became a national advocate, to work for people, missing American cases. Then that wasn't enough. Again, when I had got into a trap where I couldn't get just something simple, my family asked for cell phone pings. That's obvious. That's the first thing we asked for. Second thing I asked for was, well, let's see some video footage from his apartment to where he went out there in that desert. Zero. Let's get the Uconnect information off his vehicle. Zero. So we went to roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. Went to the senators for help in Arizona. Thank you to the Democrats there. They pull up the telecommunication companies meeting to try to find solutions to the cell phone issue. Nobody could come up with the answer to that. I even had a meeting, a sole meeting with T-Mobile Sprint representative that ran my son and my daughter's account during that time, and they couldn't help me. So what do a father do? What a person who cares about the community do? Who knows that what's happening in my family? That's why I call him America's son. What's happening to Daniel in our case is happening to 600,000 Americans every year. And what can one person do? And that's sit down in my little time in the middle of everything I'm doing, very busy person, learning how to write something. And then I came up with Daniel Robinson Law, Help Find Missing American Act, a loophole, if you have it, where families can get data, can get their own data that belongs to them without a warrant from a judge, without invading the user's privacy, their text messages and things like that. But be able to get the needed data to find and locate a missing loved one quickly and faster. With the technology that we had in 2021 and here it is 2026, I came up with that idea. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. And as a matter of fact, we want to bring that up, and I'll talk about it later. And I ask you, everyone who's listening to me right now, just go to your phone, your computer, and Google, what's the qualifications to become a U.S. senator, a U.S. congressman, and also the U.S. president. And you'll find that all you have to do is be who you are, a U.S. citizen. That's the top part of that. You know, of course, they have the age and they have the length of time when you're a nationalized citizen that you can run for office. And I think the president, you have to be a born citizen. But that is it. We have a Congress full of lawyers and doctors and lawyers, special lawyers, probably like over 93% lawyers. And look at the mess that we're in, because they're not representative of the people. They can be bought. They have, and I'm not saying all lawyers, and I'm not putting people down. What I'm saying is what we have now, and what we see is happening. We have people up there that have a tax bracket, and if you guys was to do the research like I did, and you look at the old Congress and to the Congress that we have now, the more educated the became, meaning that those degrees and things like that don't matter, that really don't matter as a representative. The further policies went away from helping the everyday American, and that's the truth. You go research it yourself. And so what I'm saying is, not down in any type of education. We all need education. We're doing great, and I really applaud anyone who succeed, who go work hard, get these heavy degrees, but it's not has anything to do with representing people. It has nothing, zero. We have become accustomed to believing that, but it's not the truth. It's not. I think the ones who wrote the Constitution did not even intend it for it to become the way it is now. But that's the way it is right now, and that's why we have a lot of issues that we have right now. And we become accustomed to seeing it that way and believing it should be that way. A representative should be someone in your community who cares, who have lived experiences, know exactly what you're going through, and would do anything to fight for you. They can't be bought. They can't be persuaded because they lived it themselves and they understand the everyday American, exactly what you're going through. Again, Arthur helped find Miss America Act, started running for U.S. Congress. I'm the first Black candidate for South Carolina Congressional District 2 since Reconstruction. And I'm the only Black Democratic candidate for South Carolina Congressional District 2 ever in history. And so the first Black, so what I'm saying, not the only, but the first Black candidate ever to run for U.S. Congress Congressional District 2. And when I win in November, I'll be the first Black congressman for South Carolina Congressional District 2, just like how Clyburn is for since Reconstruction. All of this since Reconstruction is what I want to point out. Before Reconstruction, during Reconstruction, we have Black congressmen for Congressional District 2. We even had a Black governor for South Carolina. But after Reconstruction, and we had the Jim Crow South come in, those things changed. And as you know, back then, the Republicans were where the Black congressman party was at the time. But town halls, Joe Wilson has not been putting out town halls. And this is the work I have been doing. I've listened to the voice of those when I ran in 2024 in the street. That's what I'm saying. That's how I got conservative votes. I talked to the conservatives, and I heard what they had to say. And they're fussing about Joe Wilson not giving town halls. It's something simple as town halls, believe it or not. They were angry to say he don't even want to hear our voice. He don't want to explain the way he voted. And that's the job of a congressman. Again, it's not about your parties. It's about the people. I'm looking forward to talking to everyone, regardless of your party. You can stand at the town hall. That's why I have town hall. You see this right here. This town hall was with Joe Wilson. I've done this town hall myself, and I wish I could blow it up for you. I paid a lot of money downtown, and I invited Joe Wilson. He didn't show up. Downtown, his town hall. I've been to 3 other town halls that Joe Wilson of his from a different organization. They had town halls with Joe Wilson. He didn't show up. They asked me to step in for him. I had to speak to his own constituent. I'm a constituent. So what I'm saying is I've been doing the work that way too. The difference between me and the candidate that's running against me is that I actually been doing the work. I have of years of work that I have been doing, not months or days or, I've been doing the work, and I'm doing real results. Crafting my own first bill, have weekly town halls. You guys know I do weekly town halls. I've been doing it since June last year. You name it. Again, the foundation, things that are going to help Americans of color, which is getting disproportionately affected by the missing American crisis. We have 280 Americans missing here in South Carolina. So those things matter. A person like myself who's a disabled veteran who used the VA system. Joe Wilson can't say he used the VA system. I don't know, but he probably can, being a National Guard. But Zion Khalifa cannot. He cannot say that. He can't say he used the VA system to understand what a veteran going through with PTSD or internal injuries or waiting for a long appointment and what you want to do about it. It's not personal when they say they want to privatize the VA. It's personal for me. So, I'm going to be doing everything I can fight for, and I'm not going to take no for an answer when I'm in front of those who try to press against me when it's a bipartisan choice. So the thing is, I'll be the biggest voice because I've been there. My lived experience actually matters. It means something. It means something. So again, when I hear someone says lived experience don't mean nothing, but book smarts do, I have to disagree with that. I have to respectfully disagree with that because we all have our lived experiences. Veterans, I'm going to speak on the veteran behalf again. We have our lived experience that nobody understands it unless you've been through it. And so we have our mothers or our fathers who were single parents. Nobody fully understand it. That's why we have issues about the fight for it now, unless you've been through it. I've been a single parent. I've been there trying to make choices of what my children are going to eat one night, what clothes they're going to wear. Should I continue my degree in computer engineer or not? Or how can I make more money for my children and start my own business? A small business owner. I have lived experiences. If you're just starting off in life, you don't have those experiences. I have my own lived experiences. There's a small business owner who had to try to go to SBA to get help and couldn't get it. Going through the red tape, going through unfair loan practices. I'm aimed to fix that because I remember it's right here in my head. I remember those things and it's in my head and I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to fight for it. So lived experiences versus reading something about it is two different things. Lived experiences cause you to write things like Daniel Robinson Law. It calls you to start a bipartisan town hall for since June last year. It calls you to actually do things. It calls you to see what you see on the bottom right here on the screen, these pictures. Bring people together, hundreds of people at a time. Fight for your country. It calls all of that. Lived experiences. Lived experiences. Not something I read. I mean, nothing I read. I went to college. Nothing I read in the book. These are lived experiences, and lived experiences matter. So before you all make your vote on tomorrow, I hope you think about those things because it matters. It really do matters. I'm not the perfect person. I'm not by far saying that. I don't know all the answers. But just like you saw when I wrote Daniel Robinson Law, I'm going to find the answers. I'm going to find the answers. And I can't tell you straight up. And I think one of the downfalls that I say, and I'm more critical, you know, we all are critics, more critical ourselves than anybody, is that I'm not such an articulate and sound so great and dress so well. But that is a facade. That's almost like a mirage in the desert. But you got to look at what's been happening right now, what's going to work, people who are actually going to do the work, and people show you who they are. I'm not saying nothing bad about anyone. What I'm saying is that kind of work that you would do is by your actions. What have you done? What have you done? Show me, because you know if you're a Democrat and you're going to win some votes of the conservative votes, you best come with some receipts. You can't say, "Hey, I'm going to do this for you," and blah blah blah, and so no. People don't want to hear that. What have you done? What kind of stuff are you doing? What kind of person are you? Show me some receipts, and I have plenty of receipts for 5 years now, plenty. So I'm asking you all to please get out there to vote. But I hope you make the right choice. Again, nobody asked David Robinson to run. And I'm saying it that way for purposes known. No one asked David Robinson to run. I run it because I care and I know I have solutions and I can do something. I know I can do it. I was given this task, this journey, again, turning my pain into purpose. And that's exactly where I'm at right now. So again, thanks so much for everyone to join in. But I definitely want to post this. It's 48 minutes long, so maybe I can't get it on. I might can't get on Instagram. I have to break it down because I think they don't let you 20 minutes. So those on Instagram, I drop. I apologize. I saw it drop. I've been having all kind of issues, and I hope tomorrow when I bring the families on, I can resolve that issue like I said before because I had that for a while. But I want to go ahead and try to get that fixed. So I'll be practicing a little bit. I might do another live test run tonight. To make sure that I can get the bugs fixed out before tomorrow, or bring everybody on to my personal page because when I noticed when I try to add 2 different Instagrams, my personal Instagram, campaign Instagram, and also Please Help Find Daniel Instagram, it causes problems. I think it's a little too much for my computer. So again, just want to say thank you all for being here for this little short video of a live stream. I hope I see you tomorrow. I will be again doing this live stream for missing Americans and their families. I'm working still to get families on for tomorrow. I have a few that say they would do it. We could try to get more. I have some resources. I'll be working all night, so you guys can probably look at me and say, "Oh, he looked tired tomorrow." Yes, that's what I've been doing for 5 years, working hard. And so I will be putting some things together the program, kind of tighten it up. And then once you see me from the live stream, I hope you all meet me at 7 o'clock over on Neil Court, so you can come to the watch party, and we can celebrate one way or another. I'm telling you guys, for me, it is for me it means a lot. I'll just put it that way. There's a lot of reasons why I'm saying that. It's on the things that I know between me and God, me and my family, and so many other things. So it's a really big defining moment for me. And I can tell you, for those who voted for me, I want you to understand, I gave it everything. When I say I gave everything, I'm not just saying it just out of figure of speech. I mean, literally gave everything to this moment. So I just want to say, that's the reason why it's defining for me. And then we'll go from there, because I know God is good. I trust in Him like 100%. And so for me, it just hits different. It means a lot more. So again, take care of yourself, and we will talk soon. I'm gonna put my last thing on, and then I'm out of here. I'll let you guys look at the CNN video one last. Well, I'm just gonna end it because I want to be able to post this back up. Thanks so much, y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
Good job.